Hey guys, welcome back to Catch a Code, and in today's video I'm going to show you guys how you can make your own flood system, like the Roblox game Flood Escape, which is probably the most famous version of it, but also just in general for like puzzle games, and this is coming out while I'm developing my puzzle game, which if you're unaware is going to be like a horror puzzle game, but there's going to be more to that later and devlogs and such. But that's not what you guys are here for. You're here for the flood system. So essentially we're just going to make a quick and easy version of this today. I'm going to show you guys how you can do it to achieve the nicest outcome. So basically what we want first, you can open up an empty base plate. And then we want to get like an origin point, and this will be the point of where the flood will actually happen from. So say you have like a tower where you want like the players to like jump up, much like in Flood Escape where you have to like climb up the parkour. Then place the origin in the middle of that tower, and then we need to set the dimensions of the actual flood part. So what I'll go ahead and do in my case is I will go ahead and check that 0.25 studs is on. This is fine for now. You can put it lower if you want like a more detailed version of placement or whatever. But we're just gonna do a 1x1 part here. And just to visualize it, I'm just gonna make it red and then equip neon right here. I'm gonna make it anchored, and then I'm gonna make can collide to false. So now this I'm going to rename to origin. And now this will be our origin part, and then this is where the flood part will stand from. So essentially, when you set the position of something else to another part, it will go from the middle. So say the flood part will look something like, it'll probably look something like this, maybe like that. This is going to be like the size of the flood part. Well, then this part is where it's going to start from. So it's going to essentially go in the middle of this. I can't align it perfectly, but you guys get the point. It's gonna like go kind of like this when we tell it to get it to the position of the origin. So just place this origin wherever you want it to. Make sure that's anchored so it doesn't despawn or anything. And then let's go ahead and make a script in server script service. You can call it whatever. You can keep it unnamed. I'm just going to call mine the flood manager, or whatever you want to call it. It's just going to be my name for now. It doesn't really matter. And then first of all, we're going to get our origin point. So we're going to say local origin. I'm going to zoom in a bit here first. I'm going to say local origin is equal to the workspace find first child. And then actually we're going to use wait for child just in case it hasn't loaded yet. So then we get the origin point here, and now we can control where we want to place the flood part. But we need a function to control making the flood part. So we'll make one that says local function. We'll call this make flood part, and then you can just exit out that function. We'll make another function that says we can call this one the start flood. There we go. So now that we have the two functions here, what we're going to do is we're gonna, within this function, that's gonna be like our main function for doing the flood, and then we're gonna request this function up here to make a part for us. So we'll start by making this part. So essentially we're just gonna, in the parameters, we're gonna, when making a part, we're gonna ask for the origin. This will just be to place it at the right spot. So we'll say local flood part, and then we'll do instance.new, which is just a way of creating something new within a script. It's much like going up here and then just pressing on the part button. That basically makes us a new part instance as well. But this is just doing it through code. And now we can set some properties of the flood part. We can start by saying that the flood part should be anchored. So flood part.anchor true. We can say the flood part should be like half transparent. I think is good, so like 0.5, because you want to kind of be able to see through the water to like, yeah, it just gives that nice water effect. And then we set one of the most, probably one of the most important ones, which is the flood part.size. And now here is where your own game comes into place. So say we have that tower that I talked about before. If we quickly go ahead and construct a tower, say like these would be the dimensions of the tower. Kind of like this. So like you have your, I mean, this is a very short tower, but you guys get the point. Then you'd have the flood part. You want to keep it within these parameters here, or within these not parameters, within this like dimension. So you can just insert a part and like look here, see how long it has to go, and then once we be like here, okay, so I saw that was like 16.25, so then you probably want to do 16.25 ish. But I don't really have a tower in my case, so I'm just gonna do a set number. So I'll move it a bit over here, and I think what we'll do, we'll start by doing vector3.new, which is a way to make three-dimension vectors. So first of all, we're asking for the x number, which is the x-axis. It's the red one here. You know this from math. X, and then the green is the y, of course, and then z is the third dimension, which is the just the third dimension. So what I want to do in my case, I'll just want to set it to like 50 in this direction and 50 in this direction to make like a square, and then we won't really mess with the height because that's where the actual flooding comes into part. We want to gradually increase the height of it. So I'll just do like 50, 1, 50, and then this should be like a decent size for the thing. And then down here, we're just gonna do quickly, we'll say return flop part, because then down here we can say local flop part equals to make flop part, and then we just pass in the origin, and I'll just call this the origin part. There we go, just to not mess up any of the names here. But essentially, now when calling this function, we'll get the flop part, and we can use it within this function right here. But we need to set some more parameters before then, because, well, first of all, we have not told it where it should be. So the parent should be within a workspace so we can see it. If you have like a folder you want it to go into, like a flood puzzle folder or whatever, just do that instead of workspace. You can do like workspace dot flood puzzle or whatever it's called, you know, you get the point. But in our case, we're just gonna set it to workspace, and then we're gonna have to set the position, and this position should of course be the origin point. So we'll just say that the flop part's position should be equals to the origin point, or origin part, sorry, dot position. So this will just set it to that origin's position right there, and then we want it to be can collide to be equal to false, because in like water you like kind of fall through the water. And yep, then we want to set some things for the actual part to make it look like water. I'm just gonna quickly go ahead and test what looks how much like water. So oops, if we go ahead and make like a demo part here, we'll scale it up just a bit, and then I'll just go ahead and pick like a color. I think like electric blue looks nice. And then you guys can of course do whatever you want. This is just a quick example. And then say we did like 0.5. Yeah, I think this is fine. So this is gonna be like my water. But of course you can see this doesn't really look like water, it looks like a rock, but just to give it some kind of texture. But just set it a blue color, and then give it like maybe not pavement, maybe not that either. I mean, you could do water as well. I think we'll just do water, honestly. Or plastic, sorry. Plaster. I keep messing that up. So yeah, this will be our thingies. So plaster, and then that color. So we gotta provide this to the flop part. So we'll say flop part dot color equals to color3 dot from RGB, and then we have to pass in the colors. So I'll just go ahead and copy them over here, paste it in, and you can also just monitor it in here and set the color directly from there. And then we'll set the flop part to dot material to enum dot material dot, what do we do? Plaster. So now we have the size, we have the position, it's anchored, it's going to be transparent, and we have the properties of this flop part right here. So I think this might honestly just be everything we need. So what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and call this function right here, or this star flood function. So we'll say test.wait like 3, so we can load into the game, and then start flood. And then I'm just going to delete that part. And then what we should see, I'll play the game, but you can just run it. What we should see is a flop part at the red point. There we go. As you can see, we have the origin being the middle. It's kind of like buggy, but we're gonna make it non-visible in a second here. But then you have like the water coming out of it. As you can see, I can just run through my water because there's no like actual like water scripts of sorts. But you could add scripts where you like swim in the water. In our case, the water is going to be deadly, so I don't know how much you want to swim in it, but you get the point. So yeah, this is pretty nice. I mean, I think this size is pretty nice. And we'll just build a quick demo tower here in a second. So what I'll actually go ahead and do, instead of having a small origin 1x1, is I'll set the size of the origin to the same as the water part. And we'll just do this because of how it will look visually. So I'll start by changing the size to 50,1,50, and then the color should be the same as the water. And then we did plaster, and then 0.5. There we go. So this is the origin now. And essentially, if I change the X height in this thing to like 0.5, and we go ahead and run it quickly, you can see when the actual water is being added. That's the origin, and that's the actual water. You can see like it kind of like bugs into this. So quickly, what we can do to fix that is we can just say 49.5, comma 0.5, comma 49.5. There we go, just to make it slightly smaller. And now when we add the actual water, it should look a bit better. There we go. So yeah, now we have the origin, and this is simply because when we want the flood to start happening, we want it to not just like randomly spawn in water. We want to have like a start point of sorts. So I'll go ahead and put this down to the earth real quick. I don't know why it's floating. There we go. So basically now what we have to do is we have to do it so when the flood spawns, it should go up directly on the x-axis. So we'll do that within the start flood function. And then, so what we'll do, now that we have the flood part, we can get tween service. Game, get service, tween service. And then we can get a tween information, which is just tween info. Oops, not that one. Tween info.new. And this is the info that you pass the tween service to like make the actual tween to make it nice. And if you don't know what tween service is, it's basically just changing properties of a part like smoothly, because we want to change the size of it. But what we could do, I'll show you guys what we could do, and this will probably be the approach if you're like new to studio. You can do like for I, 20 do. You do like a quick test of weight, and then you do float part dot size equals to float part dot size plus, just so you can see here that the thing actually wants us to do. We go ahead and run this function, while you see, hopefully, is that it's going to like make it up. It did that really fast, so that looks smooth. But if you want to give the player like time to react, we'll do like test dot weight 2. You see, it's gonna like slowly build up, and it's gonna like be like instant. There's not gonna be anything like smooth about it. And this is fine. I mean, if you're going for like a really simple approach, or if you're new to studio, this is just fine. But we want to make it a bit more smooth in our case. So go ahead and scrap this for loop right here. Not the last end, but just these ones. And then we can go ahead and uncomment this. So now we need a property table. So we can say local property table is equals to, and then we'll make a table. And here we want to change the size of it. We want to change the size. So we'll say size is equals to, we'll say vector, we'll do float part. Well, we gotta put this in a vector 3 new. So I'm gonna do float part dot size dot x comma float part dot size dot y comma float part dot size dot z. And then we'll do plus vector 3 dot new 0,1 0,2 actually. We'll do 2, 0. So go ahead and do this. This should work if I remember correctly. It works in my head, so we'll see if it works as actual code. Then we'll go ahead and make the actual tween. So we'll do tween equals to tween service, and then create. This is a way to make a new tween. However, you need to know that whenever you make a tween, it's like an animation of sorts. You gotta play the actual animation. So you can make the tween, but nothing will actually happen. You have to play the tween for something to happen. So we can just look at what it wants us to give. So it wants us to give an instance the tween information, and then the property table. Luckily we have all three of these, but if you're missing one, you got to go back and make it. So the instance we want to change around is of course the flop part, because that's the thing we want to change the size on. Then we have our tween information, which we made earlier. And actually I don't think we gave it any inputs. No, we didn't. And you can just leave it blank. I was just gonna do like some default presets, but we'll go ahead and change that in a second. And then the property table. So within this tween information, we'll just say that the time should be 60. It's in seconds, so 60 is a minute. We'll do enum. Actually, we'll just do it like this. Well, like if you press enter once, it's gonna like plop the parameter down here. It looks a bit nicer. So 60 seconds. We're gonna use the easing style of quad. I like quad. But honestly, in my opinion, it's like cola and Pepsi. It's like, I feel like it tastes the same, but there's a small difference apparently. And then this is just it. You can leave the rest out. Or actually, we should probably do reverse. Yeah, we'll do reverse. So basically this is, you can just completely skip this part if you want your float to just like go up and then be constant, but I think it would be nice to have it like go down afterwards as well. So what we'll go ahead and do is repeat number, we'll say 0, reverse, and then reverse we should do true. There we go. So if you go ahead and do this, what this means is that it's not going to repeat any times, but when it gets to the top of the tween, it's essentially going to just reverse. And that's instead of making a different tween for it to like go down the other way, it's going to just reverse to the natural position, like the natural size of it, which is what I want in this case. If you want to just stay at the top again, just delete these two things here. Make sure there's no comma on the last one, else it won't work. But then that's it. So now that we have the actual tween here, what we can do is we can say tween play, and we'll go ahead and have a look if everything is working so far. So it doesn't seem like it because this thing is not going up anywhere. And my suspicion of this error is because we see what it's changing. It's changing the Y. Oh, never mind. It's working here. I was just impatient, I guess. But it's changing the Y, but it's going a bit too slow in my opinion. And this is because I think within the property table, we set it to only be like the actual size of it plus 2. So what we'll do instead is we'll say we want it to be, we want it to finish off being like 50 studs in the y-axis. Now we should go way faster. There you go. So basically we're telling it here that we want it to go up 50 studs in the y direction here, and it will just go ahead and flood for you. And I think it's a bit too transparent for my liking, so I think I'll mess with the transparency a bit. I think if we make it you know, actually never mind, this is fine. We'll just go ahead and turn cast shadow off. So we'll go up here and we'll just make sure that the flop point parent is the last thing you want to have here. This is just, these two should be the last things in the function. So just make sure you have that. Cast shadow false. That should make it a bit better. And then we can go ahead and make it a bit slower by just saying, if you still want it to be 50, we can make it slower by just changing the amount of time that the tween will be. So we can do 2 minutes instead of 1 minute. If we run this, this is the updated version. You see it's going way slower here. And yeah, it's going way slower. And honestly, what we might do is we might make the origin point completely invisible, because I don't like this like where you can like see it clearly. But here you go, guys. As you can see, this works very nicely, and it's going up. Of course, you can change the speed of it. So we'll go ahead and just say that the we'll say that this origin part should go invisible. So at the very top of the function, we'll say the origin.transparency 1. There you go. And then down here we can do tween dot completed connect function, and then we can say that the we can do this, but instead of having this thing, I want to use something else called debris. So game get service debris, and this is basically just to avoid you guys having some extra yield time in your script. So we'll do debris, add item, and then we'll add the flood part, comma, we'll do comma 1. So this basically means that it's gonna wait a second, and then like it schedules a given instance for destruction. It's gonna wait a second after it's completed, and then it's gonna break it instead of just doing destroy. So, and then we just keep the origin point in case we want to have a new function, because if we do, we just gotta call this thing again, and then boom, we have a new flood part. But we'll just keep the origin part here. What this looks like, it should remove the thing right there. You can see it removes. It has a small like it's not fully smooth at the beginning because we're deleting the part. What I could do is I could just make it smooth by changing the size. It's gonna be at least more smooth. So go to the origin and then just set the size to be the actual size of the flood. So we'll do 50,1, 50, and this should look more smooth. There we go. As you can see, it's fully smooth now because there's no like glitch when setting in, and the flood is just gonna go up. And what we can do is we can say that the flood should only take 10 seconds, just to show you guys that it will reverse down and then delete once it's finished. So it's gonna go up really fast here, right here, and then it's gonna go down again because we told it to reverse. If you want it to stay at the top, just make sure that it doesn't reverse within the tween information. It's gonna go down, and then it's gonna break, and then the origin point is what's gonna be visible. But of course you can just change it so the origin point is not the visible one, and then keep the transparency 0.5. So we'll do instead of doing 0, we'll do 0.5 here. There we go. This is basically the full system. However, right now you can just freely, if you just go ahead and run it again here, but play it. Oops. Essentially, you can just walk inside this water without dying. We want it so when you touch the flood part, you should die. So a simple way of doing this. Okay, so I just had like a brain freeze moment there. I don't know what I was thinking, but I don't know if I'll leave that out of the video. But we'll essentially just go ahead and make a function here called touch blood again, and then we'll say or we'll leave this inside of the start flood function. So we'll leave it here. We'll say flood part dot touched connect function hit. If hit dot parent is a model, and hit dot parent find first child humanoid. So if it's a player, then so now that we know that it's a player, and we should change the humanoid's health to 0, just like the script suggests to me. So go ahead and play it again, and we got something here. We got an error, and this is because I made a local script before. So just go ahead and delete that, and basically go ahead and touch the part, and we die because it's a kill part. You can also make it so like it gradually takes off your health, but then you have to do like a debounce, and when you do that, that touch does not work that nicely. So you probably wanted to use like region 3, or the one that I made by the admin panel guy. I forgot what it's called, but there's a nice module for that as well. But essentially now it's gonna like rise up, and then once you touch it, it's gonna kill you. So I'm quickly going to make like a like weird tower, parkour tower, just to show this off, and then I'll be right back to you guys. All right, so I've gone ahead and built a quick tower right here. I wanted these to be kill parts, but I didn't do that quite yet. That doesn't matter, you still get the point. You have like tower here, and then you have like the water, like the origin part. So what I set it to wait for 10 seconds we'll change it to 5. Actually, we'll just keep it at 10. And then it's going to start flooding me. So basically, we go and play this game, and we gotta escape quickly, because else I'm going to die to the water. So you like go up here, and then in a sec we should see the water start rising. There you go, you can see it's rising now, and if I touch the water, I'm gonna die. So let's try and not do that. I gotta like go over here, and this is like, I mean, this is kind of like a copy of that game. I mean, it's a lot lower quality. So if you guys are doing this, make sure to like change around, like, and I died there. Make sure to like play around with different ideas and stuff to like make it original in your case. This is just a way to show you guys how you can do it. But yeah, make sure to make it like original, add like a twist or something to it, because of course, yeah, that's how you want to do it. But essentially, this is all for the flop part. Once you touch it, you die, and when it reaches the top, it's going to go back down. If you're confused on how you can change it, these are like how the tween works within the tween information here. This is the time, so lower this and the flop will go up higher, like faster. And the actual height of the flop you want to change over here. It's this number right here, this 50 right here. If you want to make it easier for you to change these numbers, what you could do is you could do like a table here. You can just say this is a config. You can just do config here, make a table, and you can say that the tween time should be equals to like 60, and then the flop hard height should be equals to 50. And then in here you can just do config.tween time, and over here you can do config.flop hard height. So basically now whenever you just change one of these numbers over here, it does the stuff for you, and this is very much more easy if you have like, if you're working on a big dev team and you need your builders or whatever to be able to change some stuff in your code, then the config is the very easiest way of doing so, because they're not gonna have a clue on how to do it else. And we can just run it again quickly. I want to see if I can beat the tower. So we're just gonna jump on these poles right here. And the cool thing, like when you make it transparent, it's gonna like look like you're kind of in the water with the posts and stuff. So make sure to keep it a bit transparent. That just looks so much more nice. I nearly fell there, so we're gonna just jump over here, and then hopefully we can. No, I just can't do that jump. I can't do it, but whatever. I'm not gonna stretch out the video anymore. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll leave a model to all of this in the description. It's most likely going to be in my Discord server, so go ahead and join that one, and you can grab the model for free. But if you want to learn how to actually code and like understand this stuff, I'd recommend you just watch this video and then type it out manually, because you guys might not realize how much that actually helps you when you're learning to code. So for more scripting course guides, if you want to learn how to script proficiently, you can watch my series. There's only 3 episodes right now, but it is growing rather fast. So there's going to be a 4th video coming out very soon from when this video is released. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my Discord server. Bye bye.